we're learning about operations on functions. So we're going to be adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing functions, as well as finding compositions, which is when we plug one function into another. So let's start off with an example that's just polynomial. So this is a quadratic, this is a linear function. And for A, we're first going to find the sum of these two. So we're just adding together f of x plus g of x. So let's first plug in our equations. We have x squared minus 3x plus 2. This is our f of x. Our g of x is 2x minus 4. And since we're adding, all we're really doing here is combining like terms. So we have an x squared. We have a negative 3x and a positive 2x. So those two are going to add together to give us negative x. And we have a plus 2 and a minus 4 that combine to give us minus 2. And we can stop right here. This is just our answer. We don't need to factor since it's just a polynomial. There's nothing we can cancel out even if we factored. Okay, let's look at B now. B is a product. So now we're multiplying f of x times g of x. So again, let's start off with our equations. F of x times g of x. So because we're multiplying here, this time we're going to be distributing each of the terms from this equation to this one. So let's start off with the x squared. We're going to multiply x squared by both of these terms. So x squared times 2x gives us 2x cubed. X squared times 4 is negative 4x squared. And now we're going to multiply negative 3x by 2x, negative 3x by negative 4. So negative 3x times 2x is negative 6x squared. Negative 3x times negative 4 gives us positive 12x, so be careful of your signs. And then the last term from the first equation, 2, we're going to multiply by 2x and by negative 4 as well. So we have 2 times 2x, which is 4x, 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8. And again, we're going to combine like terms. So we have a 2x cubed, we have a negative 4x squared and a negative 6x squared, which gives us negative 10x squared. We have a positive 12x and a 4x, which gives us positive 16x, and then a minus 8. So we're going to stop again right here. We don't even need to try to factor it since it's not a fraction. There's nothing we can cancel out. Okay, C now is a quotient. So this is f of x divided by g of x. So f of x is x squared minus 3x plus 2. G of x is 2x minus 4. So this is now where we're going to factor because we're trying to cancel some stuff out of both the top and the bottom. So let's start off with the numerator. This is a trinomial, so we're going to factor it using our x. So our a times c is 2, b is negative 3. What multiplies to give you 2, adds to give you negative 3, b negative 2 and negative 1. Because your a value here is 1, we actually don't even need to use the box. We can just rewrite this as x minus 2, x minus 1. So that's our numerator. And our denominator, we can also factor something out of this. We can divide both of these terms by 2. And so this is going to give us x minus 2. And now you can see you have something that you can cancel out from the top and the bottom. So that the simplified is just x minus 1 over 2. And there's my answer. Our last part of this first problem now, this is a composition. So this is when we are plugging in. So the first function is going to be the outside one, the second one is the inside one. So what I'm doing is plugging g of x into f. So really what I'm doing is plugging in. So g of x is 2x minus 4. I'm plugging in 2x minus 4 into each of my x's in f of x. So I have 2x minus 4 squared minus 3, 2x minus 4, plus 2. Now to square 2x minus 4, I'm really just multiplying them out so I can FOIL this. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared, 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x, and then negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x, negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. So this is 4x squared minus 16x plus 16. And now I'm going to add on the rest of this. So I have a negative 3 times 2x, negative 3 times negative 4. I'm going to distribute that. So I have negative 6x positive 12, and then this plus 2 at the end. So again, now I'm just going to combine like terms. So I have 4x squared. I have negative 16x and a negative 6x, which when I add together give me negative 22x. And then I have a positive 16, positive 12, and positive 2. So 16 plus 12 is 28, plus 2 gives me 30. And again, we don't need to FOIL this because there's nothing we can cancel out. So that's our answer. So pretty straightforward when it is a polynomial. Let's take a look at an example now when we're looking at rational functions. So this is a rational function where they're in the form of a fraction. So let's start off with A. So this one is a subtraction problem when we're subtracting f of x minus g of x. So we're starting off with, again, our equation. So f of x is 4 over x minus 4. And we're subtracting 2x over x minus 2. So this should look kind of familiar. When we're subtracting two fractions, we need to make sure we have the same denominator. So really what we're trying to get to here is the same LCD. To get to the same LCD, what we're going to do is multiply by what's missing. So what's missing from this one is the x minus 2. What's missing from this one is the x minus 4. So now they should have the same denominator, which is x minus 4 and x minus 2. They both have those in the denominator. And now we can distribute our numerator. So we have a 4 times x, 4 times negative 2. So this is a 4x minus 8. And we also have, be careful here, this is a negative 2x. So we have a negative 2x squared, and then negative 2x times negative 4 is a positive 8x. So let's combine like terms. We have this 4x and a positive 8x. So I'm going to rewrite this. I have a negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 8 over our denominator. Let's see if we can factor out this top. So if we look at all of our terms, we can divide all of these out by negative 2, which leaves us with x squared minus 6x plus 4. And here, for the trinomial, if we try to find a factor for this, what two numbers multiply to give you 4, add to give you negative 6? This is impossible. There's no numbers that multiply to give you 4 and add to negative 6, because 4 can only be created from 1 and 4, 2 and 2. None of those add together to give you 6. So we can't factor this anymore. This is our final answer. Okay, so now let's look at B. This one is clearly a product. They're being multiplied together. What's different here is that we have a number here instead of x. So this is telling us our x is 1. So we're going to be multiplying f of 1 and g of 1. So let's first start off with our f of x and g of x. So here's f of x. Here's g of x. And they're being multiplied together. So if we do 4 times 2x, this gives us 8x. And our denominator, I'm just going to leave like this for now, because my next step is going to be plugging in my x value. So this is going to be x equals 1. So every time I see x, I'm going to plug in 1. And then I'm going to simplify. So 8 times 1 is 8. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So this is 8 over positive 3. And there's my answer for this. So whenever they give you an x value, you're just going to plug it in to get to your final answer. Okay, so let's move on to our compositions. So see how C and D look very similar. The only thing that's different is the order. So for C, this is having you plug g of x into f of x. So the first one is the one that goes on the outside. Whereas for D, this is plugging f of x into g of x. So now g is on the outside. So let's do C first. what we're going to be doing is plugging g of x. So g of x is 2x over x minus 2. This is what we're plugging in to our function for f. So if we look up at our top, what we're really doing here is plugging in this into this x right here. So every time we see an x, we're going to replace it with our g of x. So we have 4 over, instead of an x, I have 2x over x minus 2. I still have this minus 4. So again, this is kind of familiar from what we did in the very first unit. What we need to do here is multiply this whole fraction by the LCD, which is this x minus 2. So what we're really doing is multiplying everything here by x minus 2. So we're going to be distributing x minus 2 to all of your terms. So on top, we're multiplying 4 times x minus 2. In the denominator, when we do 2x over x minus 2 times x minus 2, the x minus 2's are going to cancel out here, which just leaves us with 2x. But over here, we still have a minus 4x minus 2. So now we're just going to simplify. So I'm going to distribute. So I have 4x minus 2 over 2x minus 4x plus 8. Combine like terms. So I have a negative 2x plus 8. And I'm going to try to simplify as much as possible by factoring. So my top one is already factored out. I can take a negative 2 out of the bottom. So this is now x minus 4. And I can simplify these numbers out here. So 4 divided by negative 2 is just negative 2 x minus 2 over x minus 4. And this is my final answer. So we're going to do something very similar for D, but now we're plugging in f of x into g. So f of x is 4 over x minus 4. So for this one, be careful, you have 2 x's, so we're going to be plugging this into 2 places in our g of x function. So we have 2 times 4x minus 4 divided by 4 over x minus 4 minus 2. So notice how every single place I had an x in my g of x, I replaced it with this function. So again, we are going to multiply by the LCD, which is x minus 4, to all of our terms. So this is one term up here, and then here's 2 terms in the bottom that we're multiplying. So again, terms are separated by a plus or minus, so this 2 is not a separate term. This is all one term. So when we multiply it on top, the x minus 4 is going to cancel out, which just leaves us with 2 times 4, which is 8. And the bottom, this x minus 4 and this x minus 4 cancel out, which leaves us with a 4. But over here, we're multiplying this negative 2 times x minus 4. So you're multiplying both of these terms by x minus 4. So let's simplify. We have 8 divided by 4 minus 2x plus 8. Careful of the negatives. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8. Combine like terms. So we have 8 is equal to 12 minus 2x. And again, we want to simplify as much as possible. So let's factor out a 2 from the bottom. So 6 minus x. And now we can simplify this 8 over 2 to just a 4. And so this leaves us with 4 divided by 6 minus x.